And now, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hey there, Gumshoes! How are we doing tonight? Hey! I'm doing absolutely peachy myself. Oh, why do you ask? Well, if you don't know me, I'm Amy O'Neill, girl detective. I'm known for solving mysteries with my keen observational skills, my powers of deduction, and my encyclopedic knowledge of online gay drama. With these things, and my trusty magnifying glass, I've solved cases all over the world. From the pup napping at Pride to the filching at Folsom, I've cracked the LGBTQ community's toughest cases. So why am I doing so peachy? Well, Gumshoes, there's nothing a girl detective loves more than a good mystery. And let me tell you, this case I've got might just be my toughest one yet. But don't worry, Gumshoes. If we keep our wits, hang on to our magnifying glasses, and remember to look out for each other, I know we'll be able to solve this caper lickety-split. And you can hold me to that. It's a girl detective's promise. So, are you excited? Well then everybody, let's all grab our notepads, put on our thinking caps, and get ready to solve the case of the missing dolls. But first, it's important that we're all on the same page. We're trying to solve the case of the missing dolls. So tell me, do you know what a doll is? Clap if you know what a doll is. Okay. Let's do a little refresher, just in case. You see, a doll is a kind of girl. A very special kind of girl. For starters, a doll will usually be a little on the taller side. She might have a beautifully husky voice, an enchanting jawline, and a dazzling selection of combat jackets. Dolls also have a wide variety of interests. A doll might like rock climbing, role-playing video games, or even poppers. Some even like all three. So, Gumshoes, do you know the kind of girl I'm talking about? Clap if you know the kind of girl I'm talking about. Great. Now, before we begin, I have a bit of a confession to make. You see, I hope I'm not pitting girls against each other by saying this, but out of all the girls in the world, I love the dolls the most. And that's pretty good news for me because I am a doll. Although I don't really know that many dolls in real life. But I did meet a doll today. She was the one who handed me the case this morning, the one I'm gonna need your help on. Wait a minute, I'm realizing I never told you what happened this morning, did I? Let's rewind a bit. The place, the bustling big city streets of Wooster, Ohio. The year, 2024. The cigar of choice, ballpoint pen. The unlucky sap, yours truly. You see, I was up all night pondering some cold cases. Cases like, where is Amelia Earhart? Who really was Jack the Ripper? And how many rotating cubes do you have to picture in your head to be considered legally male? Because, Gumshoes, I love mysteries. I love mysteries like the sun loves the moon, like the bees love the flowers, and like the rain loves the asphalt. I chase mysteries, the way a dog chases a cat, and the way a queer influencer chases respectability. And when I get my hands on a good mystery, I hold on to it, the way a G-man holds on to uranium. And it was just my luck too, because a new mystery fell into my lap with a knock on the office door. The knock was louder than a coward at the McCarthy hearings. I looked around, rattled, but before I knew it, before I could even blink, almost by apparition, the most beautiful doll I'd ever laid eyes on was sitting at my desk. You're Amy O'Neill, right? The world-famous girl detective. Now, let me give you a free detective tip, Gumshoes. When you're solving a mystery, you never want to let your guard down around anyone. Anybody could be the culprit. So that means that everybody has to be a suspect, no matter how nice they seem. So look closely at what happens next. I want to show you how a girl detective keeps her wits about her, no matter who she's talking to. You're pretty. The doll explained to me that she was a nice girl, done bad by a screwed up world. She always tried to do right by the men in her life, but they would always leave, sooner or later. Men would always tell her they felt trapped by her, when all she ever wanted to do was give them her heart. I felt rotten that such a nice girl was made out to be someone so nefarious. But, sadly, life with a doll isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Which brings us to our business for meeting with me. I've been keeping track of something for a little while now. See, I think something's been happening to dolls as of late. They've been disappearing. Or, to put a finer point on it, we've been disappearing. Now, I've been looking into these disappearances. Some the police file as murders. Others that say the doll skipped town. But I've been looking into these disappearances. I know they're connected. I can feel it in the cracked up, beaten down thing I call a heart. I've tried solving this mystery myself, but I'm afraid I'm no girl detective. I'm afraid I'm just a broken doll, one who spent too much time peeking through the playroom windows. Not enough time looking at the door. I'd like to hand this case over to you, Miss O'Neill. Would you do that for me? Would you carry my burden? Sure. I took the envelope. I reached into my desk and put it away, but when I sat back up, the doll had vanished. Just as quickly as she came into my life, she was gone and out the door. Which brings us to now. She left a case for us full of missing dolls. So I think what we should do is go through each doll's disappearance, one by one. If we look closely, I know we'll find a connection. Huh. This can't be right. This is Maddie Debates. Maddie Debates? You guys know Maddie Debates, right? Wow, really? Maddie Debates is a legend among dolls, a legend in the whole LGBTQ community. Back in the day, she would make these 3-hour videos about why it was rational to support dolls, or even rational to be a doll yourself. I used to love her videos back in the day. She would always start by playing a video clip of some really awful conservative. So this is just another example of why these dolls, or so-called women, are not true biological females. I have in front of me an online post written by one of the dolls. Let me read it now. It reads, "Slunking on her D-word is genitalia, slunking on her D-word silly style until she eject." Well, as you can see, it gets more graphic from there. Now, the obvious lewdness of that post aside, 30,000 likes on that post, by the way, really shows where we are as a society. It proves that dolls are not true biological females. Because unlike what this post seems to claim, it's a basic fact that women, as we all know, do not have sex for pleasure. My wife has confirmed this for me many times. And then, once she set up her opponent as a real villain, she would use critical analysis to knock him down. She could always out-logic the logic boys and beat them at their own game. Wow. You know, I know that I'm the depraved sexual pervert here, so take this with a grain of salt. But I have to think that organizing your entire sense of politics around the sex you're having is an act of libacious hedonism so debaucherous that it would make the Marquis de Sade himself wet with jealousy. Now, my sweets, in a vain attempt to focus on just one thing in that absolute gift of a block quote, let's begin with an analysis of how heteronormativity has been used to control women's reproductive habits since the Middle Ages. Now, maybe that doesn't seem like much today, but that's only because of how influential Maddie Debates was. We're used to hour-long gender seminars on the internet today. But back then, the only videos on gender were about how feminism was destroying video games by giving female characters emotions. At the time, Maddie was an inspiration. She fought the worst people on the internet and won, with nothing more than her wits and a camera. Her videos are what made me want to become a girl detective in the first place. And I guess she's gone missing. Hello? Anybody out there? You know, I haven't watched a Maddie Debates video in a couple of years. Let's see if there's anything in her file that might give us some clues. It says here that back in 2021, there was an online controversy around Maddie Debates. It had something to do with comments she made on a live stream all the way back in 2017. Yeah. And so basically what I'm trying to do is recognize that, like, hey, most people are not going to immediately know what being trans is, right? So what I'm trying to do with the channel is come up with, well-researched, nuanced arguments about what being transgender is to people who might be skeptical. And to me, there are a lot better arguments to make than, oh, I'm not a man because I don't identify as a man, Anything that begins with, oh, I identify as this, so I'm valid, seems very flimsy to me. It's hard telling everyone you're a doll. You want to prove yourself and try to come up with reason after reason for why it makes sense to be this way. I get wanting to justify your existence, but it usually just gets you or other people hurt. Gumshoes, I don't want to waste all my time justifying why I exist. Instead, I want to make the world see me for who I am. So, when that video resurfaced, people didn't take it well. They started calling Maddie a bigot, a traitor, a bootlegger. Somebody even compared her to George Bush. They started threatening her, doxing her, calling her by a different name. She ended up deleting all of her social media, and I can see why. I think that Maddie was getting a lot of her support from people online, and, well, can I say something maybe controversial? I think that sometimes people online can get really, really upset about things that aren't really that big of a deal. That's just a theory, though. Still, that's why I don't go online that much anymore. And why I'm lucky that you guys are my friends. Anyway, with her social media deleted, no one heard from Maddie until she released a response video a few months later. It's funny. For the last 5 years,